So, learners, welcome to this chapter number 6, which is connected to population in India. Now, as we know that India is still a developing country, a nation which has an explosion of population. That means India now is declared as the most populated country. Now, we are going to understand different aspects connected to the population of India, right from how the population census is done to what type of population we have, like the quality, the quantity of population, the qualitative analysis of population, plus why is there a population explosion that has happened in the country. So let's start with the first aspect. That means if we are talking about what is the population, if we have to talk about the population in India, these are the key facts. The first important fact that we have is population is the number of people living in a particular area. So if we say we are talking about the population of a city, then how many people live in that city, that defines the population of that city. Similarly, how many people live in India, and that will define the population of India. Second thing that we need to understand is that population is counted based on what we call as census. So that is what we say, population census is conducted. Now in India, this population census is conducted every 10 years. So the last population census on record that we have was conducted in 2011. Now still till date 2025, there is no population census that is conducted, right? So in spite of 10 years passing by, we have not conducted the population census. Now, India has become the first largest populated country in the world. As per 2011, it was second, but now in 2025, they say that India has become the most populated nation in the world. Now, India occupies the world's 2.4% of land, but the population of the world, if we have to say the total population in the world, out of that entire population, 17.4% lives in India. So land wise, we are just 2.4%, but population wise, we are having 17.4% of the world's population in India. The statistics connected to population are published by the Registrar General and the Census Commissioner of India. Now let's see the trends in the population growth in India right from 1911 till 2011. Whatever the trends are, if you see, the population was having a negative rise in the year 21, probably because of a lot of pandemics that took place, wars that took place during that time frame. In 1931 to let's say 1951, if we see, there's a rise of around 1%, 1.3% in the population every year. And 1961, if we see, it was 2, then again 2.2, 2.2, 2.1, 21, 2001, we see the population in crores was 102.7, and it was 1.9 as the rise. And finally in 2011, what was the population? 121, and the 1.4% was, you can say, the average annual growth. So the growth has dropped in the year 2011, but at the same time, if you see, in 2025, we still are categorized as the most populated country in the world. Now let's see some theories of population growth, where we are talking of Malthusian theory of population. It has two parts. One is the population growth, and the second part is connected with the food production. Now when we talk about population growth, they consider geometrical progression, that is 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3, 2 raised to 4, and so on. This way we have geometrical progression in terms of population growth, whereas food, if we are talking of, it is arithmetical progression, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on, right? Now, what happens when this kind of population growth and food production is there? See, if we look at the next figure, it will be 16. Instead of that, it will be 32. Here, it will be just 10. So, obviously, the result will be disequilibrium between the population and food supply, right? Because there is a lot of population growth, but food supply does not rise in the same proportion. So, food shortage is bound to happen. Then you will need to probably take up the food from other countries or increase your own food production in a different manner. Now, how to correct this? Obviously, positive checks or natural checks that we call, there are earthquake, epidemics, wars, famine, floods, etc. So all these lead to the natural check of population control, because with the famine happening, with floods happening, with epidemics happening, obviously population decreases in, and it decreases in a drastic, massive way on that point. Then we have preventive measures where we can, as human beings, adopt certain measures so that the population does not grow in the proportion which is unwanted. So, what you can do, there are late marriages, celibacy, self restraint, family planning methods, etc. So, this is what is the Malthusian theory of population, where population growth and food production is compared and the progression is different, and that's why the result becomes disequilibrium between population and food supply. And he suggested certain measures which are natural checks and certain measures which are preventive checks for this problem to stop. Now we come to the second theory of demographic transition, which was given by A.J. Cole and E.M. Hoover. Okay, the demographic transition model states, he has stated there are 5 stages where the population, first of all, if we see stage 1 and 2 is talking of expanding, stage 3 is also talking about expanding, stage 4 is more of stationary, and stage 5 is declining. Now, this, if you see in case of China, also this has happened. China had expanded, and so it decided that no, we will have restraint. We will have only the restriction of one child or something. And when they restrained, what happened? The population started becoming stationary, and then they faced a problem of declining population, because of which they had to change that decision. Okay. Now, why population expands? If we have to see the below the graphical representation, what is given, if we see below expansion, the first 2 points say high birth rate, rapid fall in each upward age group due to high death rates. Second stage, if you look at, there is high birth rate, fall in death rate as more living in middle age, and slightly longer life expectancy. Okay, then comes declining birth rate. So people decide not to have so much of a population outburst. So declining birth rate, low death rate, and so more people living to old age. So what happens in the stationary case? There could be the problem of youth declining, which means later on, after a few years, there will be problems about more people in the older group and less people in the younger group. This is what is happening in many European countries also. Stage 5, if you see declining, there are low birth rate, low death rate, higher dependency ratio, and longer life expectancy. So basically, both are low, birth also and death also, right? High dependency ratio means basically you will find that there will be more people living in the age group which is older age group, because of longer life expectancy. So this is what is the demographic transition model which was given by A.J. Cole and E.M. Hoover. So these are two theories, two models which we learned, Malthusian theory and this demographic transition model of population.